All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is December 27th, 2021. So, welcome back from the holiday weekend. Hopefully, everybody had time to get away from the markets and basically enjoy a holiday season with either family or friends, get some time to reflect on the year that was, and ultimately look forward to the week that will about to be. It is, of course, our last week of 2021. So as we get prepared for this 5-day session, moving into 2022, starting to maybe reflect on our performance, some of our goals and objectives, whether we've met them or not, moving into next year with new ideas and strategies, how to improve, how to continue performing at excellence, and ultimately to prepare for what the market is going to provide next year. We start off by looking at the week that was. And when we look at the markets from last week, one of the key things that we can discuss is the range was intact. The range transition from low to high was significant. We saw a fairly strong recovery from low to high in the overall markets. And throughout the week, as we saw maybe more clarity on things like the new variant of the virus, more information from different growth sectors, things like China economy, the Turkish situation occurring with their currency, along with just normal US economic policy and sort of the monetary changes coming next year. The market brushed off a lot of this overall risk and advanced into close to new all-time highs. So, as with every week, we start off with the SPX. We take a look at the previous week to see, did the market achieve its expected move on the week based on the option side of the market? And we're looking at the current week, whether the market expanded or contracted that expected move based on the overall size and percentage. And then from there, are we seeing any significant changes with this expected move range? Are they technical in nature? Along with, can we start to target certain things based on the setup that the market is providing? So last week, we came into the market with approximately an 87-point expected move. That put our downside at about 45.32. The market was able to achieve this lower bound of the range in the first trading session. And then over the next 3 days, we did have a shortened week last week. Market not only advanced to the upper bound of that expected move, but we also closed slightly above. So from the option side of the market, this was a full range transition. We saw a back test or a lower bound test of the expected move. We saw a full move to the upside, and the market was essentially showcasing how significant this expected move can be when it comes to expectations. Essentially saying that, yes, this is the potential of the market this week. This is what volatility dictates the market to move. And if you are unprepared for this movement, then you may find yourself in a position of risk, especially when we have full transitions. So moving into a full 5-day trading session, this week's expected move is showing up at about 72 to 73 points. That puts our upper bound at about 47.98. We'll just say 4,800 for the SPX and the SPY. And then our lower bound at about 46.54. Keep in mind that this is both an expectation of movement based on the weekly close. So our SPX did close at approximately 47.25. That 72 to 73 point move is calculated from that closure. And also, one thing to keep in mind is this is a quarterly series. Essentially, we have these series expirations once per quarter. As we are ending the year on this weekly Friday, we will see a quarterly series close and also dictate the expected move for the week. This being the expected move value that I've determined for the week. So with last week's transition, it may be worth considering that the market has the potential to move these expected move bounds. We've seen in previous weeks that this is also true, regardless of how compressed the overall volatility becomes. Markets often like to either test one side of these bounds or ultimately see some upper bound tests, excuse me, in regards to movements through the technical range that we've been trading in over the past couple of weeks. When we shift over to the SPY, that range becomes very clear and very concise in its definition. This is a market that has responded quite well to both significant levels along with what are often known as overextensions, usually false breakouts or just quick moves away from this value zone that the market has deemed to be fair over the past couple of weeks. Last week, we even discussed the idea that while the market can seem bullish or bearish throughout different sessions, depending on your reference point, the market essentially has been flat. You had bought the S&Ps, for example, in late October, you would only be up a few percentage points based on last week's close. And at the time of that discussion, the market was essentially flat based on that entry point, showcasing how long we have been trapped inside of this range and how significant the volatility has been for those couple of weeks. Now, as the market begins to test its new all-time high, and as we look at lower time frames, we can start to form some thesis ideas for the week. Essentially, if the range is still intact, then as the market climbs into this upper bound, we should see over the next couple of days a clear rejection of this upper bound. Essentially, the bears coming in to short, the bulls taking profit at this upper target, and the market essentially retreating back into the range. This would be our normal range-bound thesis for the past couple of weeks, and so far that has been a successful trading opportunity for those sessions. If the market wants to continue bullish, there's a few ways it can do that, and the structure of how it performs that breakout is going to be important for understanding what the next move is into the end of the week and potentially into 2022. One thing to start off with is essentially our lower time frame needs to remain in some sort of trending structure. Here I have an hourly time frame on the SPY, and you can see that throughout this advancement, pullbacks to the 20 period have been bought. And as the market is climbing into its upper bounds, if this advancement is to continue, we need to see the bulls either defend this trending moving average leading into a new swing high and clearing some of this upper bound resistance that has plagued the market for range transitions lower, along with possibly an overextension into what is often referred to as a back test of the range. Now, what's interesting about back tests is it's one of those technical terminologies that people often differ and discuss in different ways. Usually when you're leaving something like a range bound area, a back test can often occur very quickly before you begin the advancement. The idea being that before you leave the range, you often come back to that preliminary supply zone. You see whether or not the demand can overweigh that supply moving forward. And if it does, the market usually advances relatively quickly, essentially because anyone who has traded that range has to either stop out In the case of a bullish breakout, you'd want to be thinking of shorts stopping out in the market, along with a range breakout leading to new buyers, additional demand entering the market and facilitating the move higher. Different styles of traders and different types of setups lead to different ways to extend past a range. One of those ways is that back test. And usually what you want to see is where exactly does the market need to back test to confirm a range breakout. For a very clear range, such as the market has currently, I would often say that the highest print outside of false breakout looks on a higher time frame would be the first choice for the market. So essentially, if bulls are to carry this market forward, we could see an advancement, a pullback to, in this case, our highest daily close with a high print of 470.65, and then a move higher, essentially making new swing highs on some shorter time frame trend. Another possible idea is a market may consolidate here, essentially drawing in additional shorts as the area of interest is correct. This is where stronger selling activity has occurred. And if we do see a bit of a stall, some energy starts to get built in the market. As new shorts are entering, new bulls are also keeping or holding their current positions. And that can lead to essentially a flat or very balanced sort of trading activity for a couple of sessions, where you don't necessarily see a pullback, but you also don't see a rejection. At which point a breakout from this represents our bull flag scenario, where the market has placed in an area of balance, a higher range or an upper range amidst the larger overall range in the market. And that bull flag breakout is essentially equivalent to our backtest scenario, albeit the value that has been established is usually formed near the resistance point of the range. And then last but not least, the market could essentially reject from here. We could see a couple of days of a pullback as the daily candles have been advancing without much in the way of consolidation. That pullback could lead us back into a midpoint of the range. And often when I'm looking for these sort of middle areas of the range, I'm not looking necessarily at what is exactly in the middle of the range. I'm looking for what is often referred to as value. And this is where volume profile can come in handy for a lot of traders. Knowing where the most value inside of a range has transacted is more important, in some opinion, than the actual midpoint of the range. This is where the market likes to return to transact whatever inventory needs to be exchanged. And from that point forward, if we push higher, that can also represent our sort of bullish flag scenario, as value is quite high in this range. Along with an extension away from it is a value breakout, or the idea that we're moving and looking for the next area of high value or high inventory in the market. So all these scenarios are looking at the bullish case. The bearish case continues to be one of the more obvious ones. If we are at resistance and if the rejection near the top end of the range is clear, we should see something like a sharp move back through our value zone. Essentially, the market indicating that bulls are not defending here. There's no transactions at this time. And the market may start to fall precipitously, as we've seen before, in search of that stronger demand near the lower bounds of our larger technical range. So from the S&P point of view, the range-bound trading thesis and the way to perceive a strong range such as what we have is fairly straightforward. There's only so many scenarios we really have to consider. Everything in between would be some sort of variant of one of those possible scenarios. And as we look at those variants as they form, if they form, we will simply see what the more likely probability is for the market moving forward. We apply that same thesis to the Nasdaq, which, while does not have the same range-bound definition near the all-time highs, there is a strong technical range that has formed in this market. We're looking at approximately 380 to 400 inside of the QQQ. The same basic thesis applies. If we see rejection near this high, then our bearish scenario of trading this range continues to be in play. We have a couple of ideas of how bulls can set up for a range resistance breakout. And if we look at things like where does value sit in this range, similar to the SPY, it sits closer to the top side. So if a bullish structure starts to form near this value, and we do see a range breakout, one that continues to hold and even a daily close above, that can be indicative of confirmation that this range may no longer be where the market wants to trade. We may see an advancement and once again another continuation of our bullish trend into 2022. And then finally, last but not least, our IWM. The full trade thesis from last week has completed. We are looking at a much larger range in the IWM, but the overall structure and thesis behind it continues to be the same. The best bullish opportunities for ranges tend to be at the range lows. The best bearish opportunities are at range highs or false breakouts, high or low for either scenario. And usually what you're targeting is not necessarily a full range transition. You're often targeting value. The IWM has completed this move from low to middle. And in this case, the range value happens to sit at the midpoint of the entire range, approximately 222 in the IWM. So for those trading in this market, there has been sort of a resurgence of a more risk-on appetite for the equity and overall U.S. Equity side of the market. This was more of a technical setup, but the idea and the thesis generation remains the same. You want to understand that the markets can offer different potential at different times, and those potentials are still indicative of maybe a bullish uptrending overall structure, a range that needs to be dealt with at the time, leading to bullish and bearish scenarios. And then, of course, when the market is neutral, in the case of the IWM at value, you may want to consider some more delta neutral or essentially range-bound strategies that aren't necessarily directionally biased. For those option traders out there, you'll know that before the IWM broke out in November, some of the best ways to trade this market were delta neutral strategies. You want to be thinking strangles, iron condors, or even something as simple as targeting the midpoint using butterfly or ratio bound strategies in the option side. So however you decide to approach this market, we're looking at bullish to neutral. And now that we are sitting in neutral, the remainder of the move is up for the market to showcase. Otherwise, we may see what has happened before, which is a bit of overall just indecision, lots of volatility back and forth, but no real clear directional bias as the market continues to consolidate. So moving into some of those more speculative assets, for those who are in the crypto side of the market, we did have some new information from a technical sense occurring in Bitcoin. As Bitcoin had fallen down into approximately 42,000 for the asset itself, we saw a consolidative range or just a falling wedge type structure start to form. I have it somewhat highlighted on the futures contracts here. And you can see that over the past couple of sessions, we've had a very clear bullish breakout from this area as the market is beginning to retest its previous swing highs. Now, this structure is a bit early to say that the bearish nature is over and that we will not see new lows forming in this market, but it is an early sign that maybe we are no longer in such a defensive posture and the market is starting to reassess the value of this overall asset. This is also true for some altcoins. For those who are more involved in the crypto side, you want to be taking at new all-time high leaders. The likes of Polygon and its respective token Matic have made new all-time highs. But additionally, you may want to also see what those pairings look like. As we have Bitcoin is starting to break bullish, some assets are breaking bullish as well, but their relative performance is quite high compared to an asset like Bitcoin. For example, one of our key altcoins, Ethereum, is not quite in such a bullish posture at this time. And you can see that very clearly on the pairing between Ethereum and Bitcoin, where of course Bitcoin has advanced and Ethereum has been trading relatively flat near 4,000. So moving into some other speculative parts of the market. Last week, we saw some news out of Nikola. This was in line with some bullish activity across the EV space. And as you can see, this particular stock saw some of the highest volume traded in quite a while. What we want to be looking for is an early sign that this market may have a bit more upside left to price in. As we've seen bullish moves from this level in the past, to start off with our first occurrence of that level, this is where Nikola ultimately begins to get bought. It's not indicative that this market is going to make new all-time highs. That, of course, needs to come with a lot of sentiment and overall trading activity moving forward. But it's indicative that this market may have a little bit more upside left to price in before seeing a potential fade lower. It's a signal and a sign that the move is ready to begin, at which point we need to watch for and respect those moves for continuation, along with the eventual possible rejection as this market offers downside just as well as upside potential. A lot of y'all know that we've been trading Tesla the past couple of days. If you've watched some of my recaps over the past 2 weeks, you'll know that Tesla has been one of my main focuses for intraday trading. And this market has bottomed. We're looking at what is often referred to as a backtest of previous range highs, and that has been marked here at approximately 885. For those watching that sort of precision entry, there was a very nice intraday opportunity at this 885 print. And since then, the upside has been quite attractive, essentially 3 to 4 days of continuation to the upside. But as with anything, we're looking for where is the market about to pause. And if we look back at previous range highs or swing highs inside of this upper bound, and as we extend this out, this market is coming into that top level rejection area, basically the retracement resistance. So just keeping in mind that while the low to high scenario is really attractive, once again, being a bull on the right pullbacks gives you the best risk to reward. The upside potential is defined, at which point the market can do additional moves to the top side. We can see a breakout, we can see continuation, but usually the setup for those moves is going to be different. It's going to result in something like a bull flag, something like a swing low that is bought, a higher low setup, essentially changing the dominant trend on the time frame you're looking for. Tesla has some of that potential sort of marked into the previous move. And what we're seeing now is how is it going to get out of this retracement? And is it going to get out of this retracement before seeing a new swing low? So all ideas for this week. Continuation in EV is probably going to be one of the focuses that I will be looking at, as a lot of activity occurred last week. It's worth considering that we may see some additional resurgence of interest in different names, the likes of Lucid, the likes of Neo, and some of the sentiment across the China-based stocks, the likes of Neo, and then one of our main ideas for a possible bottom forming in BABA. These are all ideas coming into this week, but ultimately we need those signals to form. Essentially, we're at the right price levels. Can we get the right confirmation? Now, last but not least, as we look into the week ahead, we want to continue to watch our volatility. Last couple of weeks has been sort of a back and forth struggle for volatility-based trades. You're going through what Artie likes to call different regimes in the volatility structure, either risk on in regards to debit or very appropriate credit-based strategies, all the way into hedging inside of a VIX that approached the upper bound of 30 and a little bit higher from a couple of weeks ago. Last week, we saw a lower high in this market and a quick rejection of volatility back below 20. So it does appear as if the market has settled for the time being. We're back below a very clear inflection point, that 20 print being the most notable price to call out. We're back into some sort of normal expectation of movement, lots of chop that occurs below this print if we see the market stall here. And ultimately, if this is the path moving forward, while we may see new all-time highs, the path to get there might not be as fast and aggressive as we've been seeing. Essentially, we could see a bit of a bullish drift into the new year. Market starting to advance, but not seeing the same intraday ranges as we have been seeing. And it's just a note that in volatile times, the market gives us bigger ranges. As day traders, this is an advantage because we can take advantage of tighter entries, tighter stops for larger moves, along with smaller size and allowing for the range to expand in our favor. But as with everything, the market is now saying this may no longer be the case. And if that's true, we want to understand that our strategies from the past couple of weeks might not have the same range to take advantage of. We might have to be a bit more selective with our stock selection. Market stocks that move the index products may not be in play as much as we might initially think. And the market may simply be sort of oscillating back and forth between sectors in play, small rotations into the end of the year, and a little bit of performance chasing from larger fund managers. So if this is true, want to take advantage of that and be prepared for it moving forward. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. We'll talk more tomorrow, dive a bit more into some possible ideas for the end of the year, moving into next year. And as always, trade safe, stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more then.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend, as well as an amazing holiday. So glad to be back with you guys, and hope you guys are doing very well. Um, I see Norm's camera's not on just yet. Let me see if I have a message from him, but he should be joining us shortly if he's not already on his way. So we'll look at a couple of things first here, guys. While we get started, let's take a look at our gappers list this morning and see what we have going on. So right over here at the moment, a little bit of stuff in the green. NKLA, as Jared was talking about earlier, is leading the way here, up 6.8. And a couple of things on there that we've seen quite a bit. I see Bitcoin doing some stuff as well. We have Mara, we have Hut here, IonQ, which is again not a fan really of that one, but that is on there as well. So we'll take a look at that. And then a couple of things taking a bit of a hit here in the travel sector. We see NCLH, CCL, United, all these travel companies is taking a bit of a drop here. So we'll definitely get into all of that and see what's happening this morning. Taking a quick look at on the SPY right now, see what's going on there. We have had some pretty interesting swings, guys, over the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, just look at this SPY chart. It's just been it's been incredible. You know, end of the world happening over here, then we recover, end of the world one more time, part two, and then we're back now at all-time highs. I mean, what a time to be a day trader with this amazing volatility. As I am starting to get used to the systems again here, guys, let me know if something looks weird of the sound. Anything is happening that was not normal from back before I left, just give me a heads up and I'll make sure to correct it for the future here. So all right, with that said, let's take a look at our gappers list this morning, starting with, let's start here with by, like, you could tell I'm so rusty. Let's remove our list over here. Control A, Control X. Yes, Control A, Control X removes that. And over here, I know what something I forgot to do was link my trade idea. So let's do that. Come over here, over to Tools, External Linking. This is going to come up for you. You're going to do Add Link. Just take your mouse cursor right over where you want this to link. Just hit Shift, do nothing else, not even enter, then come back, hit OK, and there's your montage link to your trade ideas. Very simple, very nice tool. Unfortunately, you have to do that every time, but it does work out very well. Here it is, NKLA this morning. Let's take a look at that one. We are up, guys, 7.5, 1.8 million shares traded. This is looking good. Hasn't been doing well over the last couple of weeks. Well, really more than that. We saw the drop this thing had back in August. It has not been fun. Show some life in November, back down in December, and now we're seeing a little bit of some life again this morning. Had a great day. This would have been Thursday, right? Seems like Thursday was fun for them. This morning up 7.3, some good volume. This could be a good one today. Pre-market, though, at the moment, pre-market is not great. You can see that here, the pre-market, you know, you have some volume here, but the movement could be a lot better. We've seen definitely better stocks with better pre-market action. We'll do NKLA here. We'll throw that right on there. Next, we have GRAB. So this is Grubhub, right? Oh, no, this is not Grubhub. Close. This is Grab Holdings. So I'm not sure what this is, but it is a 2.4 billion shares flow, if that's correct, off trade ideas. So that's a pretty large float there on Grab, whatever company this is. Daily doesn't look great. Looks like just recently IPO'd, has not been doing well. I'm not a fan of what I'm seeing here, guys. So I'm just gonna skip on this one. I hope to find something better than that. Here we have Fuel Cell this morning. They are moving well. 673,000. Nice little pump. Yeah, maybe a possible on Fuel Cell. Let's put that on here. F cell possible for today. Next we have, all right, Bitcoin coming in here. We have HUD this morning, 124,000. Not a whole lot of volume. I'm gonna take a look at Mara because that's usually my favorite one. It's going to be Mara when it comes to Bitcoin. It tends to trade decent. You know what? They're gapping up today, but I'm not seeing great volume, guys. What's the news on HUD today? Or any other Bitcoin? Anything going on? I'm not seeing great volume, but there are a few of them popping up this morning. We'll put Mara as a possible for now. I don't see a great pre-market action. We've seen better. Let's see if that gets a little better into play. Heading down, we have ALLK this morning. Oh, wow, look at this drop last week. on all K here. Man, oh man, going from 85 down to $10, 950 something. And today they got some volume here after some serious technical damage being done last week. There, somebody screwed up big time. Pre-market actions a little bit all over the place, but this is interesting. After such a drop like these stocks tend to find value down here because, again, guys, you were trading at 80. I don't. I mean, I do care how bad the news is, but if it's still some kind of a company that's going to continue, you would think there's some kind of bounce happening, not today, but eventually you're going to start closing this gap, right? If the company is going to continue to operate. I mean, you got a discount here at $10 from 80 at the moment. So, not sure if that's going to be today. This can just chop around. I'm interested in this one just because the gap down, that could be interesting. We'll put it as a possible for now. That is going to be ALLK. So we'll throw that on there for at the moment. So 900,000 right now. Pre-market's a little, it's not bad, but again, it's a lot of technical damage that has been done to the stock here. We'll have to see. They're basically only drug going to market fail. Oh, yeah, that's not good. They better come up with a new drug immediately if they want to continue here. So, yeah, that is not fun there. That huge drop from 80 to $9 last week. All right, here we have naked this morning. I don't like this one, guys. I have never traded it well. I don't like the way it moves. It's one of these stocks that just the price action for me, it's I just can't read it well. And it just trades very funky. So I really don't care how much it's trading, how well it's doing. It's one of these stocks that just it pops up in our gappers list once or twice here. I'm just not a big fan of. IonQ, you know how we feel about that one as well. It had some pretty good days in the past. The daily, though, does look good for a possible breakout here out of 1823. Right, you see that level we have there, 1823, where the price action is right now. That looks decent, but again, nothing too exciting there. All right, let's see what's gapping down. I do like some of the gap down tickers that we do have here. BBIO this morning, they are down 66%, guys. 2 million shares traded. Flow on this bad boy is going to be 103,000. So it's not a low flow stock, but they are getting hammered this morning. I'm going to check Benzinga. Why are they getting hammered this morning? Let's quickly take a look here. We have Benzinga right in our chat room, guys. If you hit the Benzinga logo, you can type in the ticker there, BBIO. What do we have here? So they are reports 12 months results from phase 3 on some drug, looks like did not meet its primary endpoint. All right, so that's not good. They're getting killed this morning. Could be interesting. Let's put it on here. We do have shares for short. It has been halted already. I'm not sure how long that those shares for shorts are going to last. The only reason, guys, I'm putting it as a possible is because it tends to not, these type of drops like this, they tend to be choppy as the company tries to figure out, okay, what is the next step? So only a possible for now, but the volume is there, the drop is there, and you have a great catalyst this morning of things not doing well there today. Sopa, soup in Spanish here. Sopa this morning down 8.6. Looks like we had some fun last week on this one here. A couple of breakouts from 4 to 10, from 10 to 14, and even Thursday from 16 to 22. So some really big stretches here the last couple of days. This morning, 250,000. We do have shares for sure, so this could be interesting. I mean, this thing hasn't been trading well. Look at the IPO on this. First day did good, hasn't done much after that. Huge drop end of last month. Just been really doing nothing until the 20th of this month. So let's see what's going on there. We'll put it here as a possible for now. I'm not a big fan just yet. So here's SOPA, SOPA. NVAX, not a big fan, but today their pre-market looks interesting. Daily also looks somewhat decent here this morning. Could be very choppy. I'm going to add it as a possible. NVAX, we'll put that on there. 141,000. I got a lot of possibles today. Hopefully things can start looking a little bit better, but we'll see where that goes. All right, here's some of the stocks that we do like to trade. I'm sure I'm going to keep a few of these. CCL this morning down 2.8. Beautiful pre-market action already. Love the daily. We had a nice little breakout here. As again, COVID continues to, it's not okay, it is okay, it's not okay, it is okay. And today I'm not sure if we're okay or not. So CCL definitely going to go on the list here. CCL 700,000, which is nice for only 842 this morning. And we are down 2%. With that, I'm going to check also NCLH. You can watch either one of these is good, guys. They're both, I think, are going to be in play depending how COVID news gets released and things happen today, overall market stuff. I'd rather watch CCL. They have the better volume this morning by far, almost 800,000. NCLH only has 260 at the moment. United Airlines, I'm shocked that American Airlines is not on this list. They tend to get usually more volume and usually have a bigger range of the move as far as percentage. But United right now down 2.3, 250. Let's take a look at American Airlines. What's going on there? They're pretty much down 1.6 as well. You know what? We'll watch United today. We'll look at United. We'll put American Airlines as a possible, and we'll see how things go. So it looks like for these two, we might have to wait for the market open to see what kind of direction we're going to be going in. But right now, the overall information here does not look too positive, as the travel sectors seems to be down quite a bit this morning. All right, so that's our gappers list. Pretty nice and tight today. Nothing crazy. We didn't have a huge list on both sides of the field. Let's go over to our chat, guys. What do you guys like this morning? All right, let's start here with Bill. Bill D, you're giving us MBOT. MBOT could be the low flow of the day. Let's see. MBOT this morning, I do like the pre-market action. 67% gap up this morning. 9.8 million shares traded. Float on this bad boy. What do we have? MBOT, what are we looking at here? MBOT is 6.2, 6.2. So a little bit high for Norm's liking, but we could definitely put it on the list here. 6.2 MBOT, definitely the low flow of the day. It has a great pre-market action, guys. And this is what you want to see in a low flow stock, this constant movement. One thing I have to download is my Epic Pen. I restarted my whole system, and man, it is running so smooth compared to how it was. I went down to the bare bones, guys. Really reinstalled Windows, reinstalled all the applications again, just the stuff that I needed. You'd be surprised how many times stuff can get bogged down. And it's running really smooth. So if you haven't done that in your system in some time, give it a shot if you're handy enough to do that. It's working real nice. So MBOT, low flow of the day, that's looking good. Thank you, Bill D. Over here, we have Apple and Tesla, obviously both two that have been very fun to watch. Here is Apple. Apple right over here. Apple, man, look at this. So we are sitting at a trying to get to that all-time highs, 177 here at the moment. Yeah, Apple is good. Beautiful pre-market action, guys, looking very strong this morning. Our list starting to look a lot better here on the main side. Apple, I'm going to be adding that. Tesla, I don't usually trade, but this morning, oops, that's the wrong Tesla. Let's get the right Tesla in here. There we go. Tesla, nice little run the last couple of days. Again, this stuff is in play, guys. EV has been being talked about a lot. So if you would like Tesla, you could definitely add it to your list. I'm going to keep Apple on here. How about Lucid? I know Lucid has been very explosive as well. It's got volume. It's down 1.1. But I'm not sure. But this is one of these stocks that it's just fun to watch. I know it doesn't look great right now. I'm still going to add it to my possible list, guys. It's a fun stock to watch, even if we don't, have an amazing pre-market action right now. Let's see how that develops later on. All right, heading down, guys. What do we have? MU from AJ. Let's take a look here. MU this morning. Big day on Thursday. Nice little pop here, trying to hold above this 90. Man, pre-market action though is not great right now. This is one that I can keep off and take a look at later if it hits the scanners, if one of you guys calls it out in the chat room. But at the moment, it just doesn't look great for me to keep. So I'm going to keep it off for now, guys, just at the moment. INTC, see what we have here. INTC this morning, they are, yeah, possible breakout. Where's this volume? Where's this 2.5 million shares being traded in this pre-market this morning, right? I'm not seeing a good pre-market activity being formed here. So I am guessing there's a couple of big block trades on here that's creating this volume, but does not seem like this thing is really in play unless there are any catalysts that you guys are aware of. I don't see anything good right now. So I'll keep it off for now. If something changes, you have a catalyst on this that we should be taking a look at, throw it back out to me. But at the moment, we'll just keep this off for now. All right, heading down, what else we have? So that's INTC, Apple we have, that is good. Thank you. Fuel cell, AMD. Let's take a look at AMD here. The AMD 207,000. Again, pretty similar to MU right now. So I don't see a whole lot. How about NVIDIA? NVIDIA seems to be the one out of these semi companies that usually it's been trading a lot better. It's getting the volume and all of that. So right now they're pretty much flat right now, 236,000. Again, there's nothing explosive on these at the moment, unless there's some kind of news going on with them. But right now, I don't see anything great. MU overbought on a year-to-year daily. We'll be watching for a possible short. Jay, yeah, I can see that on MU. All right, Neo. Let's take a look at Neo. What do we have? Neo this morning, 409. Yeah, I like the daily on Neo. I like the daily on Neo. We can put this on here. I'd rather watch Neo than Tesla, for me personally. So we'll put Neo on here. Plug this morning. Let's take a look there. AMD we looked at. Good thing about AMD, I know some people will be watching in the chat room, so they will call live. They see something great happening there. Plug this morning up 2.497,000. It needs more volume, guys. It really does, especially this one. It can be choppy at times, and if you don't have that volume to kind of smooth things out a little bit, it could be a little bit rough to trace. So just be mindful of this one. It can be nice, but man, it can be brutal with how choppy it can be at times. So mindful of that one. Gary, you're giving us DD. Let's take a look at DD today. DD right now 1.2 million pre-market action looks okay. Daily so. No stock, no inventory to short on IB at least. We'll put it as possible. We can take a second look at this a little bit later. All right, I think we're doing okay for a Monday. Not too bad returning from the holidays, right? We got NKLA here. We have CCL. We have United. We have Apple. We have Neo. Two of these look really, really good. That is going to be Apple and also NKLA. Has a great pre-market action with some good activity. Let's check over on friends on YouTube. What do you guys have this morning? What do we have there? Thank you guys. Yep, good to be back. Thank you, Puppet Master. Thank you guys. Fuel cell. We looked at Penn PENN. Let's see here. No volume here. No volume. Oh yeah, this doesn't trade very well. I've seen this in the past. I'm not a big fan of Penn. Um, so just be careful with that type of action you're gonna get out of these guys. Yeah, UAA. Yeah, I like the daily on UAA. I will keep it on here. I do like the daily on this. Again, a lot's gonna depend on the whole travel thing and the news and what's happening there. So keep a close eye if anything gets released today, especially COVID related with travel. Has obviously affected some of the stuff here this morning. Let's take a look at Microsoft on our list today. Microsoft, yeah, they're all semis, oh, not semis, but all tech companies looking nice as for a bounce here. It's going to depend a lot on how we're going to open this market. How is the overall SPY is going to be? So we'll see. But then this one's looking decent. You can also look at Microsoft. You can also look at Apple. There's some other ones too that semiconductors also have very similar pop this morning. MU as well, AMD as far as the daily. They're not doing anything explosive pre-market, but that can change right at the market open. So we'll see where that goes. All right. Mara, we did look at. I have Mara as a possible. Yeah, I have Mara here as a possible. They have 241,000. They're up 2.5. So that is decent there. All right, excellent, guys. I think we have a decent list from Monday. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and take a look at our hold on a second. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today? Let me sure I got sound on Peter.
Good morning.
Yes, I do have sound. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. You looked lonely.
I felt all right, but I did look lonely.
Okay.
You're right. No, thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it.
Well, if I can help, let me know.
Absolutely. We are actually going to go. I do not have new slides for our webinar, so I will pull up the website. Let me do that so we can see what's coming up for this week. Then right after this, we'll be going right into it's Monday, so we'll be having Kreda joining us right after we do our announcements of what's coming up with our webinar. So let's go ahead and do that. I am pulling up our webinars here, and if you could help me with that, that would be great. Let's see.
Well, it
here.
would be my pleasure. I hope everybody had an absolutely fantastic Christmas weekend. It's been a busy one, a lot of fun. We play a lot of games over here, so that keeps us very busy. You let me know when you've got those announcements up. There we go. All right, guys. So, look, we are not taking too much of a break over the holidays. We do have a lot of stuff that is happening on an ongoing basis here, Bearable Traders, even over this, this gap week, as I always think of it, between Christmas and the New Year. Carlos, you're still doing an onboarding tonight?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, we are still doing an onboarding tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely tune in for that. Join us this evening if you guys want to give the room a shot.
There you go. And then the onboarding is always followed by our technology webinar. Looks like we're still having one tonight at 9 o'clock. Kyle hosts that. If you need help on the technical side, setup, installation, especially running, so setting up your hotkeys or hot buttons, he can absolutely help with that. Then we move on Tuesdays to our strategy sessions. We're big on filling out a trade book, making sure you understand how you're strategically approaching the market and your trade setups. But this week, we're going to be focusing on hedging strategies for all market conditions. Artie has been doing a fantastic job on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the room. So if you're a member, you get access to that. You can also see him if you get one of our trial memberships. But he talks about option strategies, about market hedging strategies, and investment management strategies. So Tuesday night, he's going to be putting on a specific webinar about hedging strategies at 8 o'clock. So that's tomorrow night on the 28th at 8 p.m. And then the week after, John is going to be talking about the inner workings of your trading breakouts. So this is a specific trading strategy that he's going to be talking about, sort of working through how you can sort of set it up for yourself, give you some tips and experience hits as to how you can make it work. He's got a ton of experience doing this as he's been trading these breakout strategies pretty much exclusively for the last year plus. So he's got a lot of insight to share with you. That'll be first week of January, Tuesday the 4th at 8 o'clock. And then Wednesday is always Psychology Day. So Wednesday this week, we're going to be changing it up a little bit. It looks like Jared is in on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So this week, he's going to be talking about gap trading. So not quite a psychology element, but I think he's filling in. So we really appreciate that. And if I remember, I think he's sort of one of the last to present this year. So he'll be filling that in as we head into the new year. And then in 2022, the first Wednesday of 2022, January the 5th, we'll have Dr. Kenneth Reed back with us doing part 2 of the market dynamics presentation. So those are usually at 8, and he will be at 8. If you've been around for a little while, there's a couple of things that we always do in the room. We always have our mentorships. Those happen on Thursdays. This Thursday, we'll have to see. As far as I know, we'll still be doing a mentorship during the business day, right at 11 a.m. We do that for our members, our elite members, in the webinar room with Andrew. And then in the evenings, often we have Thor that comes in and does a session. We'll have to confirm whether that's happening. And then Ed does a mentorship Thursday right after the market close at 4:30. So we got all of those things. Thursday is a very busy mentorship session, but it's a great day. Understand what's happened to the week, get some help and some insight, ask your questions, and we can help you with that. And then this Friday, we'll confirm with Jared that he's doing his cryptocurrency session, which is 11 o'clock, scheduled on Fridays. So that happens most weeks. We'll see this week with it being that said that sort of pseudo vacation week here between the two holidays. We'll see what happens with that. Every month we do like to support a charity. Coming into the end of December, we will be continuing to support the Shriners Children's Charity. So if you're donating through the YouTube, we appreciate that. Any of the super chats or super stickers, all that money goes to the charity. Plus, we double it up. So we match dollar for dollar when you make a donation there. So if you're feeling generous in the holiday season, please do so. We'd love to see that. That would be absolutely fantastic. And we really appreciate any donation that you guys make. If you also want to, look at your own skills here and try and improve what you're doing, go check out the stock trading simulator. There's no obligation, absolutely no cost. It's free to use for anybody. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to sign up for anything. We will not, market to you. You can just go to the website and use the stock trading simulator, if I can say it, and just run scenarios, right? You can run them on any stock, any market day. You get to compare two side by side. You can run it in sort of real time or speed it up. It's a fantastic tool to use to improve your trading. And on that vein, Simon and Eamon have been doing a fantastic job of giving you strategy and watch list ideas. They tell you stocks that you can look at, approaches you can take, sign up for their watch list ideas, and you can get that information on a regular basis. If you're a member, you can actually find it on our website and get sort of the history of that. Not only do we give you the tool, but we actually give you lessons you can sort of run yourself through and to test your mettle and hone your capabilities. So check that out, stocktradingsimulator.com. I think we're still running our promo. So if you're looking to join us, we always have the 1 week test drive that you can join. Now might be a good week. If you got some time off, give us a shot. See what it's like in the room. I promise you the chat room will be full. We always have a full conversation. Lots of great insight and market conversation all throughout the day, as well as live trading. Use the code PREMARKET24 to get a $24 1 week trial that gives you access to the onboarding class with Carlos we talked about, as well as a full week in the chat room. See if it's for you. If it is, then we'd love to have you join us as a member. And if you do join as a member, you get access to a full suite of courses, all of those webinars we were talking about, all the recorded webinars. I mean, we've got a massive educational library that you can get access to. So we're very proud of the work that the team have put in to get that sort of ready for all of you to use, and we're only improving it. So stay tuned. We've got some upgrades and improvements coming that when Mike gets back from his vacation, hopefully he will. He's been dealing with the COVID himself, but we will get that moving in 2022. So stay tuned for new stuff to come. But if you do join as a sort of a full-time elite member, then use the code HOLIDAYS40 to get 40% off our regular price. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that and see you in the room. And if you're new in the room, as always, say hi. Give us a little hello right now, and our members will say hi back to you. And we welcome you if you are a new member with Bear Bull right now. All right, with that, I think we've got a couple of levels to set, and we will get ready for the market opening in about 30 minutes. Oh, wait,
hi, Peter.
Wait, I do this every time. We're not doing that yet. We have something more important to do. Kreda, happy holidays.
Hi, Peter. How are you? Hi to everyone. Hope you're having a nice holiday season.
I jump in last minute and I forget what really is happening around here. Kreda, I have no idea what you're going to talk about, but I know I will be taking notes because I never fail to learn something new. So I hope you had a fantastic holidays, and thank you for coming back and talking with us right after Christmas. So over to you.
I did. Thanks, Peter. And so today's topic is resetting to neutral after a win or a loss. So I've talked about this before in different webinars and in this slot as well, but I just wanted to dig into it in a bit more detail today to make this very concrete for people. So we're talking about resetting. So that means whether you've had a winning trade before or you've had a losing trade, the key skill to have is to come back to neutral. So to be able to treat each trade like a blank canvas. So you're starting fresh. And the problem is, if you're not doing this, there can be either an emotional or mental hangover from the last trade that impacts how you take the next trade. And we spoke a few weeks ago about the idea of trading on tilt and how it all starts with one action that goes wrong and then it becomes an avalanche. So this is to layer on top of that advice and to give you a more concrete way of actually making sure that you can reset to neutral after a winning or a losing trade. So before I give you the strategy, I just want to talk about what it might look like if you're not resetting to neutral and why that can be detrimental to your trading. So we want to think about this in terms of your mental reset, your emotional reset, your physical reset, and your technical reset. So if we're talking about overall treating the next trade like a blank canvas, then each of those four things needs to have come back to neutral or to your optimal state before you take the next trade. And this is something that you can actually take into your own control and you can work at improving. So you can develop this skill of resetting on cue by using some practical techniques. If you haven't reset, and equally this can be detrimental whether you've taken a win or a loss in the previous trade. So under the mental category, if you haven't reset, and let's say you've had a win, this could look like being overconfident. So maybe you're either being a bit more open to taking risks, or you're thinking, we're on mental. So you're thinking that you maybe don't have to be as pedantic about your checks and things like that before you get into the next trade. So that would be a way of, if you've taken a win, that you might not be reset mentally. Obviously these apply more often to when you've taken a loss. So if you've taken a loss, then mentally you might be feeling more focused on the P&L, which we know is not a great space to be if you want to take good trades. You might be actually starting to pay attention to the wrong things. So when the pressure comes on, we know that that's what it impacts your actual decision making, and it can make you look at the wrong things, the wrong indicators in the charts. So your focus might be off, you might be feeling distracted, and you might actually start developing a bias towards going long or going short. So the cognitive biases come in, and that can tie in with the technical side of things as well. And then from an emotional standpoint, emotionally, if you've just taken a win and you're not reset to neutral, again, it can be that feeling of being invincible. So you become, again, more open to taking risks. Maybe you're changing your position size or something like that, where it goes against your rules. So that would be a win. And then if you've taken a loss, of course, we know this emotionally, there can be all of the things such as feeling like you need to get revenge on the market. Maybe you're angry, maybe the greed is kicking in and you are starting to feel desperation. So that's something that commonly people would actually click into, feeling like that if they've taken a loss and the pressure's on and they start feeling like, I absolutely have to make this trade a winner. So all those emotions can kick in and start to skew your trading. Then from a physical perspective, ironically, both a win and a loss could create the same physical state that wouldn't be helpful for your trading. And that would be where you start to get more physiologically kind of amped up. So your heart rate might increase, you might find that you're sweating, your breathing could get shallower. And that can be an indication of feeling under immense pressure, or it can also be feeling excitement. So you could see if you've taken a win and you're starting to get excited and the gambling mindset's kicking in, that could be happening physiologically to you. Or if you've taken a loss and the pressure is on, the same thing might be happening in your body. And either way, that can be detrimental because it's taking you out of a calm, composed state, and it's also impacting your mindset. So obviously all of these things are linked, your mental, emotional, and physical state. So that could be a way that you're not reset physiologically. And then from a technical perspective, again, whether it's been a win or a loss, you could find yourself like that, starting to bias, whether it's short or long. You might find yourself, like maybe you're changing again your position size, all of that, or maybe you're starting to impose yourself on the market. So that especially happens when people have taken a loss and they feel like they, want things to go a certain way. So they start seeing setups where they may not be there. So you're actually starting to look for things in the market that are not there and make decisions and take actions based on that, whereas actually you should be reading the market. So all of these things combined together can throw you off and mean that you're not at a neutral, ideal state for taking the next trade. So in case that is something that's relevant to you, a way that you can start to work on this is it very simply. So this is a strategy to use while you're trading. So some of them we talk about using when you've finished your trading for the day and you're reflecting and improving and all of that. But this is actually a strategy I'm talking about using while you're trading. So it needs to be quick and effective. So the simplest way of doing this is to have a little checklist. So those 4 things written down. So mentally reset, emotionally reset, physically reset, and technically reset. And you're literally ticking off each like a checklist. So tick, 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 right, I know I'm in a good state to take the next trade. And if you're not, it's like a reminder to yourself to consciously come back to neutral. So you're just bringing awareness to what state you're in before you take the trade. So at its most simple, that's what you can do. If you want to take it to a different level, you could rate yourself out of 10. So you would put 10 out of 10 on mental, emotional, physical, and technical. You would actually describe what that is. So mentally, you would be clear-minded and focused. Emotionally, you would be composed and patient. Physically, you would be relaxed and alert. And then technically, you would be following your technical process. So you could rate yourself out of 10 on each of those. And maybe you have a guideline that if you're a 5 or below on any of them, then you need to do something to reset to come back to neutral. So again, that takes a little bit more time, so it mightn't be suited to your trading strategy, but it's a way that you could approach really formally and in a concrete way, resetting to neutral before you take a trade.
I'm on mute. Let me fix that. Credit similar advice to what I tell people, because You told me this a time ago and how I need to reset myself, and it's been very useful. So great advice, everybody. I love checklists. I do think they're very valuable because they provide that needed interrupt sometimes for you to get yourself back into your mindset and understand where you're at. So Kreda, thank you as always. One of these days I will sort of remember what day it is when I jump in here and we'll properly introduce you. But thank you so much for being here. And now,
no worries, Peter. Thanks.
Later, Kreda.
There we go. Great. Thank you so much for that. Again, resetting so important. So guys, Kreda has her own playlist on YouTube, so you can go search that on our channel. And this recording will be up also a little bit later today if you want to revisit or see other topics that she has talked about here live in the show. So take advantage of that. All right, guys, let's take a look at our watch list this morning. We have NKLA today. This is looking really good. I haven't traded or looked at this in some time, but again, they had a great day last week and now looking pretty nice there. We have CCL, which just took a nice little 20 cents hit here from 2060 down quite a bit on some good volume too, 118,000 there. So that is interesting. So something going on there. United Airlines also taking a bit of a drop here. The candle hasn't populated yet, but there it is. Apple, is everything seems to be turning the corner. Is the SPY turning the corner? Okay, yeah, the SPY turned the corner just slightly. So that could be it. But still, you look at the daily here, man, the SPY is really strong still. NEO is good. And possibles, let's see what we have. NVAX. I don't like NVAX, but I got to tell you, this pre-market activity. And Peter, what is your thoughts on NVAX? I'm not sure if you ever traded this one, if you like this stock.
I normally avoid it because I've never liked it that much. I find it challenging. The few times I've tried it, it's been sort of jumpy and it's difficult for me to read.
Yeah. It's one of those stocks for me as well. SAOP, guys, I know this one has been pretty active over the last couple of days. Good possible. This actually could be on the main list today. We do have shares for short on it. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 already. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? We can put SOPA up here. SOPA. There we go. Let's put that on there. We'll do some levels for. We'll be ready. We do have shares for short. Has been moving well over the last couple of days. FSO is taking off here, guys. Look at this. 1 million shares traded. Got some good volume coming in. Oh man, this is good too. All right, this is good too. Let's put this on here. FSO. I'm gonna add that to the main list. We try to do levels. I know running a little bit short on time, but that's a good one to have on your main list. Mara is okay. Okay, not doing a whole lot right now. BBIO, I love the drop here, great volume, but it's not really doing anything if you look deeper, a little closer there. American Airlines, good possible. Lucid, also on here. This could be a good one for later today. And we have DD. So I think the possibles list stays as it is. Low flow for today. MBOT looking real nice, guys. 13 million, leveling off a little bit here, but it definitely has the volume up 70%. That could be a good one for today. All right, let's get some levels set here, guys. Let's start. Here we go. Let's start with NKLA. High of the pre-market at the moment, sitting at 1210. Slam a level there. Above this, guys, let's see where we find some areas where we have a lot of touches on here on the daily. Here we have a little bit of a mess, a nice little pop here. I'm going to mark down 1310. This seems to have a couple of good touches on here, guys. Look at this. Good support in that area. More resistance, more support happening. So 1310 looks good for the top side. For the bottom, guys, you're congested already down here. You're pretty much set. You have the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Where the price action is sitting right now, you do have a level here. There's a couple of days that ended up using that as their highest point there at some time. So 1186.82. You can see the touches here. A couple of days opening, closing right on there. You got some good resistance in October as well. So I'm going to mark that there. Pre-market already, you're seeing some support building up here at 1186. So yeah, good level to have here. Let's see what it does for today. And then towards the bottom, as I mentioned earlier, you're pretty much set. There's a whole lot going on there. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. You can go ahead and mark down the low of the pre-market. I am going to put more weight on this high from yesterday right on here. Not from yesterday, last trading day, which would have been Thursday. This 1150. It's a lot happening there. So I like that level better than the low of the pre-market for right now. CCL this morning, very active, guys. 1 million, huge drop just a couple of minutes ago. Low of the pre-market, 2043. We'll slam a level there. And once you do that level, you're pretty much set, guys. Let's not complicate things here. Look at around the price action, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. You are all set here, guys. Do not need to add anything else on a CCL. Looking very nice right now. Volume is picking up. Nice little drop this morning after a nice run last week. Let's see where this is going to take us today. This is going to be fun to watch this morning. United Airlines, again, pre-market action is not great, but they tend not to give you the best pre-market action, right? It's usually not too explosive. Right now, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days are surrounding the price action. Low of the pre-market slightly lower at 43.21. So we could put a level there. And if we were to drop below this 43.21, let's see where we have some areas where we have a lot of previous highs here. So we have 41.61, good levels there. A couple of previous day close in the past also ended up there. So that's good there. And all the way down here, you cannot deny this level, 39.14. Every time we hit that, we get a nice little bounce off of that. So that could be a good level if we were to have one of these days we had back in December 1st. December 1st, huge drop all the way down to that level. I don't think that might happen today, but with this market, as we know, anything is possible. Apple all-time highs before the end of the week, maybe 177.31, looking good there, higher the pre-market. Above that, nice level here, 179, and then your all-time highs is hanging out at what, 182 looks like. 182-ish, so we'll throw a level there. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of stuff, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Apple has a beautiful, beautiful pre-market action. I see a lot of the moderators, all the moderators, every single one has Apple on their list, and they should. It's looking very, very good, except Jared. Jared doesn't have Apple, but Apple's looking very good this morning. We'll go over.
Apple can always get to all-time highs, right? Like, you just never know.
Yeah.
It's got too much of a fan base not to, especially with the holidays. People get a little excited. So yes, I think it's probably worth watching today. But who knows, right? Like, sometimes it just says, we're just going to move sideways today. So keep an eye on it.
Apple, their stock, their product, there's such a strong fan base. You can come out with a brick that says Apple for $15.99, and people will buy it. They will buy it. It's just that. It's just you got that Apple logo, they will buy it.
But the charger will be extra for that brick.
No charger included, that's for sure, or at least not the box, right? $30.99 high of the pre-market on Neo, guys. 31.65, looking good above that. So you got plenty towards the bottom. Neo looks okay, not great. Neo is actually more of a possible. Now that I look at everything else like SOPA and Fuel Cell, I'm gonna move Neo down. Let's move this down. SOPA here this morning, guys. Good activity right now. A good level down here towards the low of the pre-market is going to be 14.39. Your low is a little bit lower. It's over at 14.11. But 14.39, you're seeing some support building up there. Surrounding this price action, plenty of stuff. I don't think you need to add anything else on SOPA here. Could be choppy today. I have it here because they had a pretty good couple of last days, some nice breakouts, but we'll see. We'll see. Not the best pre-market action right now. It needs to get better. Fuel Cell, on the other hand, we are exploding here very nicely, hitting 715 as the high of the pre-market. Nice rejection there, at least for now. Heading back down towards the bottom, we do have a couple of levels here on the daily. I do like 673. That looks good. Area of support and resistance. And then below that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Above this 715, if we were to take off again, a couple of things here. We do have 777. That's a good one there. And also we do have an 833 as well towards the top on Fuel Cell. Great volume, guys. 1.4 right now. Looking really, really nice. All right, we are set, guys. Let's take a quick look at our moderators lineup. Let me bring this in. I'm going to fine tune this a little bit, see what our moderators are looking at this morning. Let's disable this video there so you don't get that mirror effect. For those over on YouTube, guys, we highly appreciate a thumbs up. It helps us out a whole lot. So Peter and I will appreciate that this morning as you help the channel for us this morning. So thank you. Slam that thumbs up. We like to get between 250 to 300 likes. Man, we get that. We are golden. So please do that for us there. All right, here it is. Our watch list for our moderators this morning. You should be able to see this. Yep. Jared, Tesla, EVs, Facebook, Mara, Fuel Cell, and Plug. He's also adding NVAX, which again, NVAX has a great pre-market action, guys, today. Does look very good. Tiffany's looking at NCLH, Tesla, Apple, and NKLA. No IPOs, only one SPAC coming out today. Peter, you like CCL, AMD, of course, Fuel Cell. I'm surprised you put CCL in front of AMD. That's concerning a little bit. But your secondary
Change
list,
it up,
your secondary list, BB, IO, NKLA, and Apple. Dima is looking at Apple, fuel cell. Thor, thank you, Thor, so much for covering last 2 weeks. So I was away. I appreciate that very, very much. Every morning he was there covering, so thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Watch list for him is CCL, NCLH, AMD, and Apple. Secondary list NKLA and MU this morning. Mike trading from the Dominican Republic. He's looking at Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft there. So, Mike, I hope you're feeling better this morning. Brian, CCL, Fuel Cell, mRNA, Tesla, LVS, and MBOT, which is the low flow of the day. Right now, up 73% with 13 million shares traded. So that thing is very explosive. Be very careful. Amen, potential longs, AMD, potential shorts, CCL. All right, that is what we have, guys. Thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. We are going to continue here in our chat room. Do not forget, tonight we have our onboarding class at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Join that for discounted rate of $24. You can come in, join the onboarding class, get access to our chat room for the entire week. And then right after that, for those new members that are also going to be joining our onboarding class, we do have Kyle's tech class right after that at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So, guys, see you there tonight. Take care, trade safe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing. We are live every Monday through Friday, taking a look at what's going on with the markets. Peter, before we hop off, anything that we missed?
No, we got everything that I was looking at. MBOT, I think it looks interesting, but that's one of Brian's fun stocks, so be careful with it. It is a very low float, despite the fact that it's trading big volume this morning.
I agree. It's very explosive, guys. Low on that is $6. We're now at 930. So yeah, looking really nice. Guys, take care, trade safe. We will see you tomorrow or tonight. Take care.
Later, everyone.